And we are wrestling with WWE Extreme Rules. It took place last Saturday in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Wells Fargo Center. Attendance was 15,944. Um, you know, they haven't had a bad PLE since we came into 2022. Personally, this one didn't hit maybe as hard as the others. I don't know what was kind of missing, but it did seem like it was kind of cut and dry. But definitely not a bad event either. But what say you, Ryan?
I think, well, this Extreme Rules was different than any other Extreme Rules in the past. I just want to get that out of the way. This Extreme Rules was.
Ryan?
I muted this whole time.
You might have been.
Great. Alrighty, so I'll restart them. Uh, this Extreme Rules was different than any other Extreme Rules. Every match had a stipulation, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the past, you know, we would barely even get an Extreme Rules match, barely even a stipulation to any matches for Extreme Rules. This Extreme Rules was different for the good, and I think with going where you were saying where it felt like a bland, I think it's because of one reason, one person, Roman Reigns. No, another premium live event, another premium live event where Roman Reigns does not defend either of his championships. That's another premium live event that a world title has not been defended on the show.
Or
So
any of the
I
bloodline
or
wasn't present either.
and no men's singles titles either.
Yeah, no United States Championship. Bobby Lashley wasn't even on the card. Gunther, who was the Intercontinental Champion, was in a six-man tag team match. So again, that's another premium live event where the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship have not been defended. But I think we can give it some slack for the Intercontinental Championship's sake. For the United States Championship, I don't understand. The thing is, I think Triple H knows where he's going with it. You know, he's been hyping up championship matches on Raw and SmackDown. You know, I think that's where he's going with it. But, you know, this Extreme Rules, you know, it felt like this is what Extreme Rules is supposed to be. You know, an event that every match has a stipulation. Every match is supposed to get to the extreme. And overall, at least in my opinion, I thought it lived up to at least somewhat to the expectations that I was hoping for.
Alright, what say you, Scooter?
A solid show from start to finish, in spite of there only being women's title matches on the card, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Alright, well let's get
It's
into it.
a
Oh, are you? Did you
oh,
have
it's okay.
something to say?
It's a solid effort to show what they can do without relying on what the definitive main event is, because we were all guessing up until which match is going to be the main event and which match is worthy of the main event.
And none of us guessed right. We had either the I Quit or the Ladder match as the main
Yeah.
event.
Yep.
Alright, let's get into it. The Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Britt Hololand, and Butch defeated Imperium. Gunther Walter Starks, Ludwig Kaiser Permanente Roll, and Giovanni Vince McMahon. Um, in
Da
a
Vinci. Giovanni Da Vinci. Come on. If you're going to do a joke, do a funny one.
in a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. It lasted 17 minutes 50 seconds. Probably my favorite match on the card, just because how insane it was. But what say you, Ryan?
I think that match definitely lived up to the expectation. Great match all around. The thing I liked about the match is that it didn't make Gunther look weak. It didn't really make even pretty much anybody look weak. Even though I think it was Kaiser that took the pin, or it was not Gunther.
It was Giovanni.
So it was Giovanni.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
With the way the match was going, no man looked weak. Everybody looked strong. So it was a really good match, and I think it was a really good way for Gunther to lose, but not look weak, not look like he's that he shouldn't be champion. I think it all worked out in the end. It was a great way to end the feud, at least what it looks like.
What say you, Scooter?
Well, given that, Gunther is Austrian, I find his lack of Oktoberfest disturbing. But given that this was, a Donnybrook match and not a barroom brawl, you know what I love with my eggs is Ridge Hollandaise.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, and you're wishing you thought of that joke. I mean, you can't go wrong when you have Irish guys, Welsh guys, and British guys,
Italian guys.
and Austrian guys and German guys all fighting each other.
That's what Jordan Gray said.
It's a world war.
Ryan, how many stars do you give this match?
How many stars? I would give it 4.5.
Oh, wow. Scooter.
I will give it 4 pints of Guinness.
I'll give it 4. Alright, we got Ronda Rousey defeating Liv Morgan by technical submission to capture the SmackDown Women's Championship in 12 minutes and 5 seconds. Honestly, disappointed. Ronda didn't need the title. Liv could have had it for a little bit longer, and Ronda could have had a great story coming out of this. But WWE, they're going with the goal that makes them more money. Ryan, your thoughts?
I thought it was an okay of a match. I mean, I did like the table spot. I did like how they were, using the bats and everything. I think, especially hearing what the original plan that Ronda wanted, I think it was just lacking of an ending. And I just feel like that ending would have been better with the ending Ronda wanted. But and I just don't like the outcome. I don't think Ronda needed the title. I think Ronda is just not good with the title, and I think like you were saying, I think Liv should have held it at least until after Survivor Series, and then you could have seen Bianca versus Liv, which could have been a really good match at Survivor Series, if that is what it is. Again, with War Games this year, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, not living up to the expectations I wanted. Okay of a match.
I will say it was their best match up to this point, for sure.
Yeah, that's not saying much about Ronda, though.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. But what say you, Scooter?
Fuck Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
She's not good with the title. She's not good, period. Good Lord. Like, she's not Ken Shamrock. It's not knuckle up time. God's sakes. Shamrock had such a seriousness about him that fit so well into the time. Rousey is a seesaw, flipping back and forth between loving the fans and then hating the fans, and parading around in her shirts that are they're pro-life.
What?
Do you remember the Every Child Matters shirt?
I don't watch SmackDown that often, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what that was about.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that shirt was about abortion. So yeah, fuck Ronda Rousey with a big rusty dildo made out of nails.
Wrestling with Entertainment does not
Yes, they do.
publicly endorse any of the views said by any of the co-hosts.
Yes, we do.
I don't.
I hate tweets that at Scooter Dust.
This is James. We endorse it.
Wow, that was a really lazy imitation of me. I'd ask you how many stars you would give this match, but I think you kind of already answered that.
Yeah.
Ryan, how many stars?
2.
I'll give it 3.
Negative a million.
All right.
Karrion Kross
Okay.
with Scarlett defeated Drew McIntyre in a strap match. It kind of seems like Kross is biding his time with the return of Bray and possibly Alistair, unless he gets a big gimmick refresher. I don't see this match mattering in the long run. It was a decent match, but honestly, nothing special. But what say you, Ryan?
Not what I want. Like, not what I expected. Like, I thought could have been better. I thought also, like, I mean, I guess the ending, it didn't make Drew look weak. It let Karrion Kross win, but just another match, another interference. Not lived up to my expectations. I didn't think it was a good match. I wish it could have been better, and it could have been.
Oh, for sure. What say you, Scooter?
What match were we talking about again?
Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. So I think we need to amend this. It was Scarlett that beat Drew McIntyre.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
With a good old fashioned kick to the balls.
It was a
However-
spike to the eyes.
He was spread.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was maced.
Yeah, because he can't throw a fireball. So she's not a wizard.
All right, fine. I got the wrong set of balls. Nope, no phrasing on that one. So if you watched SmackDown last night, for some reason they decided to stage a car accident
But he's
with
not bald.
Karrion Kross and Scarlett. No, they were the ones driving. Particularly Scarlett was driving. That's why the accident happened. I'm sorry, Lynn.
Yes, we're gonna get canceled.
Yes. And Cross, concussed and bloodied Cross, which ironically didn't have Jesus on it, was attacked by Drew McIntyre. After the accident. I don't know how we're supposed to feel about that. Like, are we supposed to kind of hate Drew because he beat up on an accident victim? Like, this is clearly going for one more. If it's probably going to lead to Crown Jewel.
More than likely.
Maybe we'll get an Arabian death match.
They can't do a death match in WWE or PG still.
Well, they can call it a death match. They can define an Arabian death match to be whatever they want. Fine, an Arabian passing away match.
That sounds nice. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Loser is the first one to grab up and reach the golden camel? No, a Tatooine Galactic Sand Pit match.
Loser gets digested for 10,000 years.
You just had them fight in the desert.
It actually sounds like fun.
And then, John Wick shows up. It's like, God, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Deleted scenes from John Wick Chapter 3.
How many stars would you give this match, Scooter?
Well, it depends on how many Carrion saw after the car accident.
It definitely feels like he needs
It was...
Ludwig, Kaiser, Permanente.
That's why we here at Wrestling With, well, we believe in progressive. Progressive. Fuck State Farm!
Give us money. Those are great segues.
It was brutal. The match didn't even start for like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, until, like at home, it didn't start until Cross got the strap on. I'm cracking myself up here. Oh, James, we got to get a soundboard, seriously. I will give it. I'll give it 3 3/4.
Ryan. The only struggle I'm having is, was it better than Liv versus Ronda? I said 2 stars for Liv versus Ronda. I'm gonna give this match 2 stars.
I'm gonna give it 2.5.
Wow, so generous.
Yeah. ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defeated Bayley in 16 minutes and 40 seconds. Not a bad match. But it kind of feels like Bayley doesn't need it, and Bianca doesn't need to beat Bayley at this point. I mean, if you swap Bayley out for Ronda and Ronda for Belair, we maybe these matches would have been a little bit more interesting. But again, it just feels like Belair doesn't need to beat Bayley, and Bayley doesn't need the title. But what say you, Ryan?
Going into the match, I think one, it did kind of live up to my expectations. I think it, for what doesn't make sense to me is that, Bayley at Clash at the Castle pinned Bianca, right?
Yeah.
So you would think that this match would be like maybe Extreme Rules match, or some way where Bayley can prove that pinning Bianca at Clash of the Castle was no joke, was no hoax. But it was a ladder match, which didn't have to do anything with pinfall or submission. That's the only thing I just don't get about the match. But overall, I thought it was a good match. I thought it could have kind of been better. I think with Damage Control getting involved, I don't think that, unless if Bayley won, I don't think they should have even came out. I mean, I get it makes Bianca look strong, but there's no point of having Damage Control come out if they're just gonna get beaten up. I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but in the end, but I did think the ending was kind of good. Bayley taking KOD on a ladder, Bianca still retaining. I guess that's good. The only thing is, I feel like we just need more women's wrestlers to get chances. As you were saying, James, I think it could have been better if the roles were reversed with challengers wise. But I think it could have been better if, Bianca was going against, who else is on the Raw roster? Even, somebody, even from, NXT. It's just, there's so, Shotzi, or even, Raquel. Somebody like them. Somebody's got to get an opportunity here. And I feel like it's the same women's wrestlers getting the opportunities. Bayley, coming back, she gets an opportunity right away. That's all I think about it. But overall, match-wise, I think it was good.
Scooter?
I gotta say, it was the best women's title ladder match in history.
Because it was the only one. Kinda, sorta. Maybe. Absolutely not true.
It was an entertaining ladder match. It did what it had to do in terms of entertainment. Yes, I agree. Bayley does not need the title right now. She does not need to be the one that beats Bianca. So I mean, the right decision was made here, and that's all I can say. And I'll give it 3.5 stars.
Ryan.
Yeah, 3.5 stars sounds like 3.5 stars.
I agree with 3.5 stars. Alright, Finn Balor defeated Edge in an I Quit match in 29 minutes and 55 seconds. A banger of a match, great physical wrestling and great storytelling as well. But when you have two incredible athletes like Edge and Finn Balor, why are you not surprised? Ryan, were you surprised?
I think it's hard to be surprised. I mean, either way, I thought, how could either one of these man quit? None of these men are designed to quit when it comes to a match. So, with all the possibilities going through my head, I think, it makes sense for why Edge quit. But I think overall the match itself, I thought it was good. They went into the crowd, they got weapons involved, going up the steps, all of this crap. But, and then the only thing is, it's like, there was a disadvantage with Edge, so of course, he was going to end up losing. Like, he only had Rey Mysterio. There's the possibility of AJ Styles, but with AJ, being mad at Rey, that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So Edge was kind of in a disadvantage in that match. But I think the whole ending itself was good. It made Edge quit, trying to save his wife. But, with Judgment Day holding him back and Beth Phoenix knocked out cold, he had no choice. So, but it didn't make Edge look weak. It just made him looking like he's a caring husband. But overall, the match itself, it lived up to the expectations. That's really how I'm judging these matches, if it lived up to the expectations or not. I think the match lived up to the expectations.
Did it live up to the expectations for you, Scooter?
Yes, especially since I called that exact finish.
Yes, you did.
In Scooter we trust. Yeah, it lived up. It absolutely lived up to the hype. Probably the best match of the entire event. I'll give it, I'll give it 4.5.
Oh, generous. Ryan.
4. I think 4. Yeah.
I'll give it 4 as well. Alright, and then we got the main event. Matt Riddle defeated Seth freaking Rollins by submission in a fight pit match in 16 minutes and 35 seconds. I feel like this could have been a little bit more brutal and physical, and what they did wasn't bad. It was honestly pretty solid, but the ending kind of laid flat for me because it just kind of came out of nowhere, and that could just be because they needed more time for the real main event. But what say you, Ryan?
When comparing to other fight pit matches, I gotta say for this match, what in the absolute was that? Like, it was just unbelievable. Like how I just couldn't get involved with the match. All this build up and everything. The match did not deliver, in my opinion. Yes, the senton off the top of the fight pit was cool. The second level of the fight pit was cool. But like you were saying, James, the ending came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it, but for the wrong reason why I didn't expect it. I felt like also Seth Rollins, even though he won at Clash of the Castle, kind of needed this win. Even though he won the United States Championship on the next Raw. It just, I get it why Riddle won. But also, what was the point of having Daniel Cormier in there? I get it, special guest referee, former UFC fighter. But if he's not gonna get involved, I know he pushes them away, says be careful and everything. But it would have been cool to see Daniel Cormier, maybe throw a punch or two, or something like that. You know, it just felt like Daniel Cormier was just there for the attraction of the match. It didn't feel like it lived up to the expectation as I wanted it to go. So, yeah, that's how I put it.
How the fuck did you bleep yourself?
But like this?
Wizard did it.
Yeah, the wizard.
Oh, thought I was
A
just having a stroke for
motherfucking
it.
wizard.
Yeah, mother wizard.
Scooter.
See, people were expecting this to be bloody, violent and extreme. But people forget about the other definition of extreme. And that is, an extreme could mean something unusual, a desperate measure, or it can mean the limits of something. And that's what the fight pit was. It was supposed to test the mettle of Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins and test their extremes. How far were they willing to go while confined with only submission or knockout? And honestly, I think it succeeded. I think people were caught off guard by the fact that Rollins tapped when he did, because it wasn't any sort of really signature submission that Riddle did. It was
Riddle doesn't have a signature finisher move.
that
Submission move.
exactly, he doesn't. That's the thing. And everybody expects the triangle, basically, at this point. But every now and again, you kind of need an out of nowhere finish that doesn't involve a roll up, or feet on the ropes, or holding tights. Sometimes you need to show that regular moves can end matches too.
So we kind of get more invested.
Yes.
Okay.
Was it the right thing to make this the main event? Probably not.
But I could also make the argument, because we're going to be talking about it in a minute. How do you go from, Edge holding his wife in his arms to Bray Wyatt? You know what I mean?
Yep, and you don't, clearly.
Right. So, and you could maybe have Bianca and Bayley, but then you're just kind of taking away from them. I don't feel like anything was taken away from having Riddle and Rollins. Um, what leads into this takes away from their match.
Well, and not to mention that next week, Riddle now has a shot at the United States Championship.
Of course. Alright, Scooter, how many stars?
Uh, I'm gonna be generous and give it 3.5.
Ryan.
1. I can't give it more than 1. It didn't. I thought it was going to be way better than that.
I give it 3.5 as well. Alright, and that brings us to the main event. The real main event. The White Rabbit was revealed. Or was he? Bray Wyatt came back. Um, there was he's got the whole world in his hands song. Um, there
Really
was
sounded like Triple H, but apparently it really was Bray Wyatt.
maybe his voice got huskier. Harris.
Or Harris here.
Yeah. We got cameos from Huskus the Pig, the Rattling Rabbit, um, uh, yeah,
Mercy the
Marcy the
Buzzard,
Buzzard,
as portrayed by Grayson Waller.
uh, Gabby the Witch,
Abby.
Damn.
Abby. I'll send it to her memo page.
Well, that's it. You're alive and well done.
The Fiend and then Bray Wyatt came
Wait,
out the Forbidden Door, and
you forgot the Fiend's head.
Yes, the Fiend's head.
yes. And now he has a new mask. It kind of seems like it's the Bray Wyatt of old, but that has yet to be seen. But how do you see this run of Bray Wyatt going, Ryan?
Well, I feel like this is going to end up in some sort of faction being formed. But I feel like this Bray Wyatt is going to be more interesting than any other version of Bray Wyatt we've ever seen. You know, it seems like this character is mixing, you know, his Fiend character, his Firefly Funhouse character, and the Eater of Worlds character. And it seems like, you know, he's finding himself back in the WWE again. He's trying to figure out how to get back, how to just figure who he is, figure out like what happened to him. I mean, what happened on SmackDown, it seems like there's himself, his real self. It seems like even almost how he sounded, a scared self. And then you have his alter ego. It's like, who is the real Bray Wyatt? Which version is the real Bray Wyatt? We've seen Bray Wyatt, you know, be one of the creepiest wrestlers ever to step foot in a ring. Which version can we trust? Obviously, you know, last night we can say that we can trust, you know, the Bray Wyatt that was speaking in the ring. But can that just be, you know, that could be himself, but going to the alter ego, that might be his true self, the true Bray Wyatt that, you know, is aiming for the championship, aiming for to get, you know, just get to the top again, to take control, you know, with this whole, you know, who killed the world, you did, like, you know, it feels like, you know, the Bray Wyatt that was seen in the ring, it's almost like he was thanking everybody that to bring him back and everything. But his alter ego is basically saying, you guys killed the world. You guys, you know, or speaking to somebody else, Vince. But, you know, I feel like this can go well for him. I feel like I'm just rambling on, but in the end, I feel like this is gonna go well for him. I feel like this is gonna end up for some sort of world title reign for him, and I hope it goes well because there was something missing ever since he left WWE. It felt like there was something missing of that one guy that will get everybody, out of their seats every time they appear, get them out of their, chairs at home, just to lean them into the TV to hear them listen. It felt like we were missing that sort of person. Bray Wyatt was that person. Bray Wyatt is the answer to what WWE is looking for with the problem of looking for that top guy. Bray Wyatt is that top guy now, because Roman Reigns, apparently, everybody's getting sick and tired of him. People need a new guy to cheer for. People need a new guy to, be, the champ. Bray Wyatt is that guy. If you want somebody to take the title off of Roman, you have your answer now. Bray Wyatt.
It seemed like Bray, when it came to telling the story, he was always an A plus. But when it came to actually telling the story in the ring and having a match, it always felt like it fell below expectations because he tried to bring the story in the ring when all you really needed to do was have the the story, not to have to tell the story as an actual physical match, which he never really did a lot as the Fiend. Um, do you see that changing, Scooter? Where do you see the Fiend going? Well, Bray Wyatt, I should say.
Well, last night, Bray Wyatt addresses the crowd for the first time in quite some time, and he speaks. He speaks plainly. He's not speaking as any character. There's emotion behind those eyes, and he starts tearing up, especially when he mentions Luke Harper. Doesn't reference him by name, but he references losing two of his friends, two people close to him. We're assuming that's Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. There's been the rumor ever since the White Rabbit showed up that the Wyatt Six were going to show up and basically be all the personalities of the Funhouse brought to life. But when you think about it, if these characters were forgotten, abandoned, why would they want to continue to follow Bray? Here's the thing. As SmackDown went off the air last night, somebody were believed to be Bray also appeared on the Titantron wearing that black phone mask, and that's what I'm going to call it from now on, because it's practically the mask from the black phone. And they had the Fiend contacts in. And he was speaking to Bray as if he's saying, oh little one, we have so much to do and whatnot. Are we being thrown for a loop that there is actually somebody else who is now trying to piggyback off Bray's return.
Could that be Bo Dallas? Because, I mean, if I'll make him a little fatter and he's a replica of Bray.
That's absolutely true. And again, is this a battle between Bray and himself? I honestly think we've seen that. As much as I love Bray's ability to give 110% in everything he does, I don't think we need to see Bray battling another personality. I mean, The Fiend was supposed to be the true big bad. And you're going to take this new mask and it gets its own personality. And I'll be honest with you, it's not as scary as the Fiend mask.
No.
It's creepy, not as scary though. I mean, it doesn't have the tongue that he can move by, squeezing a button. Even though it was really short, I enjoyed seeing Bray be a real person. It's a refreshing change. And I think especially with the fact that the QR codes don't seem to be stopping. So I'm really hoping this leads to Bray just getting a chance to be Bray without the need for a mask. I mean, the idea of people assuming the characters from the Funhouse and going to war with Bray is an interesting idea. Especially with the rumors of Joe Gacy and Schism being called up, Cameron Grimes as well. We know Cameron Grimes will be at Raw to recruit tag team partners for Halloween Havoc.
Oh, well, I mean, the logical one is Baron Corbin, but that's a whole other conversation.
And I mean, clearly Mercy the Buzzard was Grayson Waller. I mean, just look at that shirt. Yeah, but I don't remember Ramblin' Rabbit, having those bloodshot eyes.
Well, when he died a few times before they put him back together.
Yeah. But again, the rumor being Bo Dallas is finally coming back as well. I think we are being led down an entirely different rabbit hole. And it's Bo Dallas actually tormenting Bray while trying to have Bray thinks it's happening in his mind.
Definitely interesting. And, I think whatever Bray does, people are definitely going to watch, and it's definitely going to be interesting because, it seems like the storyline wise, it's infinite. He could do basically anything at this point. That being said, I'd say keep him out of the title picture. Let him be Bray. You don't need that character in the title picture or winning a championship. He doesn't need a title.
I've been thinking about something with this whole Bray Wyatt thing, especially with the segment from last night. I feel like the QR codes, especially with the, who killed the world you did. What if those QR codes were not for us? What if it was this alternate personality of Bray's talking to Bray? Revel in what you are. Enjoy what you had. Enjoy what you actually are. And that is Bray Wyatt, not this, this guy that, that was seen in the ring on SmackDown last night. What if he's actually saying, revel in what you are? You are actually the Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, everything. This is you. And this is that's what I'm thinking. Because revel in what you are, that wouldn't make sense to us. It would make sense if it was the alter ego talking to Bray. Who killed the world you did? You are killing the world, Bray. You are killing the world that you had with the Firefly Funhouse. Now they're gonna go against you. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, there's some things you have to understand. That thing we thought was a firefly, it's a moth. What do moths do?
They eat clothing.
They eat through fabric. What else do? They attract to light. And this is what the Wyatt face mask said to Bray on SmackDown. Come with him. Your life is done. Forget the future, forget the past. Life is over. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Oh, but you will. Oh, but you will.
And also sorry.
I think the world being killed is not a world per se, but it's a family. It's Bo Dallas's world that was killed. That if Bray hadn't left, Bo could still very well have had a job. And the idea that whatever happened to Bray has now theoretically passed into Bo Dallas, the fact that this is possibly either contagious or genetic makes for a very interesting story, and you get a new main eventer out of somebody nobody ever expected to evolve past.
OD.
Yeah. I mean, Bo Dallas was at one time considered the future of the business in NXT.
Yes. You know,
I mean, with everything, what if the QR codes, and I like where Ryan took this, what if they were for Bray from Bo?
Well, that's what I'm like. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if it is from Bo, whatever whatever who was behind the mask. Obviously, at Extreme Rules, it was Bray behind the mask because he took off the mask. But what if it's if it's Bo getting to Bray's head or whatever? Also, with that QR code where it led to a video saying "Let him in," you would think that's to us, right? Just because the Fiend always said that. What if it's Bo? If it is Bo, telling Bray, let the Fiend in. You were successful as the Fiend. This is not going to work. This will help us if we can get the Fiend back. Let him in.
Unless the Fiend has been caught as a disease by Bo Dallas. And he wants to get rid of it. He wants Bray to take it back.
He wants Bray to be successful. That's his old right.
No,
Isn't Bray older than him?
Yeah,
did we see Alexa Bliss?
Or is he younger?
No, but my thing is that when Bray left, think of the Fiend as a symbiote, and he doesn't have a host, and he found a new one in Bo Dallas, and Bo Dallas is starting to not like it or change in ways he never thought, and he wants Bray to take the Fiend back. He wants the Fiend to leave him and possess Bray. There's so much possibility with storytelling here.
Oh, for sure.
Or if let's say this could all be a turn, this could all be a twist, and Bray and Bo is actually the real leader of the faction, if there is a faction. If he wants, this huge faction, of course he's gonna want the Fiend, right? You don't want, a Bray that's gonna lose. You want the Fiend that has won most of the time. You want the Fiend to dominate. So far, no sight of the Fiend, except for Extreme Rules, of course, but that's not Bray. He wants the Fiend to come back. He wants Bray to let him in, like he always said. Like how Bray always said on the Firefly Funhouse, let him in. Basically, this is, or if it's just Bray Wyatt in general, if it's just his old self, he's basically telling him what he used to say. Let him in. Follow what you said, Bray. Why are you changing? This is not how we visioned. We said this would be, that we would have a fresh start, and you want to abandon us? It's not cool. Especially it was basically, it was basically his friends. You don't abandon friends.
And I'm sure we will go down that rabbit hole as the weeks come, and a lot more of this will be clear. Yeah, just a lot. There's always a new layer to Bray Wyatt. I think is how we should end this conversation. For now. Back to Extreme Rules. How many thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, Ryan?
I'm gonna go midway between thumbs up and thumbs middle. It's like a 45-degree angle. with the thumb.
So like basically a Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
Almost like that, yeah. Let's go with that.
Scooter.
Well, from wherever, playing, whatever, I'll give it a thumbs up.
Without Bray Wyatt, thumbs in the middle. With Bray Wyatt, thumbs up. That will conclude this episode of Wrestling With. Thank you for listening to us today. And thank you, Ryan, for coming on and talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Could you tell us where we can find you on social media and your show, your podcast?
You can find me on Instagram at RyanDust WWE. There you will see just my daily, my real life self, but also where you get updates and announcements for my wrestling podcast, which is on YouTube at RyanDust, called Dusting Off the Ropes, where I just interview professional wrestlers right now from Long Island, hoping to expand soon once I get comfortable. But for right now, I'm sticking with Long Island. So if you like Long Island, especially if you ever heard of Creative Pro Wrestling, I'm going to be interviewing guys from there. So make sure to subscribe today. Make sure to subscribe to Wrestling with Entertainment. Make sure to subscribe to everywhere. Subscribe to all of us.
Yeah, subscribe to everywhere. That's fantastic. Of course, if you like what we're doing, please obviously like, subscribe, comment. Both on YouTube and Castbox. This is of course sponsored by Rogue Energy and Coffee. Join us this Tuesday. We should have an interview for you then. And on Wednesday, the new interview of the American Witch, Erica Clark. Follow us on Twitter at Wrestling E for news on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, etc., etc. And on Instagram at Wrestling E as well. Of course, support the future CCW champion Becca. As later today, she will be capturing that title against Kaylin King and Natasha Malkova.
Natalia Markova.
Whatever.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Whatever. Get a life, you stands.
Yeah. Becca is gonna be your champion. If you can follow me individually at JamesJ993. You can follow Kaliko at I am Kaliko, and where can you find Scooter?
You can find me shooting my Netflix stand-up comedy special live from Camp Lejeune. Free water for everybody that attends. And of course, find me on Twitter at ScooterDust. Find me, James and Ryan, hosting the Remix on YouTube, the premier audio companion experience for all your alternate commentary needs for WWE Premium live events. Next time we come to you, this is likely going to be Survivor Series. Probably not going to be Crown Jewel. We'd have to get off too early. And of course, hasn't started yet. It's bound to soon. Join me as I embark on my first ever Dungeons and Dragons campaign, along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
This is starting to become a longer journey than Bilbo and had to Mordor.
Yeah, except with more walking.
Yeah. Alright, for a very special guest, RyanDust, Kaliko Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.